Hello and welcome back. We're doing the usual start stream check to make sure the stream is up and running. Today is the second stream day of playing Factorio's the Pyanodons mod. It does appear to be up and streaming. I started the YouTube recording already at this point because that was going to be edited. So today we're going to be playing Factorio's Pyanodons mod. Much like day one, I think I'm going to break it into two parts. We're going to have a before dinner part and an after dinner part. So with this, let's go ahead and get into playing sort of the before dinner part. Reminder, this is currently, I believe, the state of the mod list. So let me go ahead and put that away. But if you want to, you can go turn back to that and check to see if my mods are different from yours. Other than that, I haven't changed any of the base settings with one exception, which is what I was trying to show that I wasn't changing some of the base settings. Accidentally in sort of screwing with the middle mouse button, changed a couple settings. So a couple of the richness of a couple of patches are reduced. It shouldn't be a problem, but just to note, if you're wondering why my ore piles occasionally are smaller than yours, that's probably what's going on. And there's actually 4 types of deposits that have been shrunk to minimum size by accident. Again, I think it'll still be a problem. It'll still be fine. So with that, I'm going to put the mod list away, and we're going to play in the game. Now, before we left, we did leave some things in the handcrafted queue for ourselves. We got a solid separator and like 4 fluid mining drills going. Reviewing our to-do list, we have sort of remind ourselves to check aluminum. We need to do glass and wood. I suppose that means I probably need to make a couple glass makers. The bits that we need for glass makers, which is crystal mine to mine quartz, and glassworks to turn the quartz into glass, obviously. So first to melt the crystal into liquid glass, and then the second one to form it into the glass we need. Reviewing the map, there's a deposit of quartz, niobium, aluminum, tin, uranium, raw borax. So quartz, borax we might want later, iron, raw nexolite, iron ore. Okay, so we're gonna have to go down to the quartz, and at some point we're gonna have to do more exploring because one of the notable ones that I did accidentally min-size was native flora. That's why our native flora is so small. So we will at some point have to go looking for more native flora to make the fact that our base deposit is small. I think one of the other ones was lead ore. So I'm not seeing any lead ore right now. So it was richness. I accidentally turned the richness down on the four things, not the probability that show up. Okay, let's start grabbing stuff. I suppose I can do. Let's actually think about what we want. So we want glass because we're going to need that to build some of our upcoming techs. So we'll just set that to 1. This is so that I can get an idea of what the building chain is going to look like. So glass comes from my recipe at the Glassworks, which consumes molten glass. Molten glass consumes quartz, which is also going to be one of those fluid drills. In fact, it's going to be acetylene, so I'm going to have to make up some... Oh no, that's the wrong sort. Never mind. It's easier than that. That one. So crystal mines. Need 6 crystal mines and power. Okay, so that's a little bit easier. By default, it defaults to crude oil as the presumption for fuel. It needs the liquid fuel. We'll probably fuel it with tar to start with. Okay, you can see how terrible the ratio is here. We're going to do some spaghetti because I just don't need very much to start with. So that tells me what I need. I need at least 1 crystal mine, at least 2 glass works. Grab a bunch of iron. Grab a bunch of copper. And I'm going to need some brick. Oh, I happen to have the stone brick. That works. There we go. So add that to the queue to get built. Solid separator is done. So let's get it installed and potentially working. That was so I didn't have to replace all the inserters for the design, the filter-wise. So we just got and pasted them. It's just an orientation change. There we go. So that's installed. That'll help us with processing ash faster. Well, you've already been bypassed. We've got this automated feed one, so this is just sort of the burn pile. If I've got stuff I don't need, we toss it in here and it burns. Gonna be the way we handle that. We just finished up concrete for tech. Anything new? No, that's going to be supply chain, so that's just making concrete, refined concrete. I don't need to make a specialized chain for that. We're going to probably want actually, I probably don't need that much belt. I will need more inserters. And I'm going to have to make a bunch of... Probably make a bunch of plumbing. So I'm going to have to bring gas over... Well, tar over to where we're going to do the glass making. For initial phase, the glass is mostly going to get used in handcrafting, so we're not going to belt it back to base. I'll just have to run over there every time we need it. Or, I suppose I could belt the quartz to base, but we're going to pipe the fluids over instead. Oh, something I did watch while I was doing the editing, or didn't notice when I was doing the editing. I put some of these backwards. Let's take the opportunity to fix this. So, that's the way they ran. They're supposed to be. What's the hotkey for overwrite on the blueprint? Is it? I remember being shift click. Control shift. Superforce and blueprint. Yeah, it's supposed to work. Oh, because it just doesn't have any sound with it, does it? That's fair enough. And we'll quickly get this fixed while I'm here, waiting for our stuff to work. It doesn't make a difference until we've got the mines down, obviously, but fixing it before it's a problem is probably a good way to go about doing it. And you're the wrong way around. I apparently forgot to properly rotate it first time I was coming around. Okay. And then we can just start installing some of these fluid drills. Get them out of the inventory, we can get them productive. I've got a shift... No, that's working right. So I've got a shift arrow, but I don't have a shift arrow. And we do have some aluminum, which is good to see. Let's, how many machines do I want? I want one, well, I probably want another wood processor, but we technically have that one already. 2 fast wood, 1 botanical nursery, 3 moss farms, a washer, and a high pressure furnace. So the fast forestry doesn't require anything particularly special besides a little bit more iron, or a little bit more steel. Doesn't even require glass. I was actually expecting that to be one of the bits that requires glass. But it's the nursery and... Oh, the moss farm requires aluminum, so we've got the aluminum for that. That's good to see. Okay, we need copper. And some brick. We've got a brick line, so we can go loot the brick line for brick. 1, 2... Don't actually need more iron. Three of those queued up. I'm gonna need some soil for that and more iron. How many moss farms did I need? 3. So I'm gonna get more brick as well. Okay. A bunch of iron. And more copper. And again, we're handcrafting here because without splitters it's a little bit complicated to do stuff. Twitch chat's asking, hello, playing you on a server or SP? I am playing this single player. We are not. I'm not doing a multiplayer server with this. Sorry. And there's a reason for that. It's because my internet is pretty terrible. So if you're watching this live on Twitch, I'm not like running a server for basically the simple reality of I assume people would actually like to see it streamed, and if you were playing it, the combination there would probably be more than the internet can handle. Honestly, it's a little bit more than the internet can handle just to stream it sometimes. Again, local internet's not the best. So hopefully that explains why it is being played in single player and not multiplayer. Although I think there are other streamers that are playing in multiplayer if you're interested in that. Okay, so there's the botanical nursery. That is what I need the glass for, so I need to get a glass for that. I'm probably going to need 2 botanical nurseries, so... the other stuff we need for the production chain, 1 high-pressure furnace, 1 washer. I can pull off the existing water line, and we have a burner assembler. Okay. High-pressure... washing machine just needs more iron. Okay. Okay, I think that's a good start on the handcraft. I just realized I'm going to need a bunch of power poles. And then our science has stopped, probably because we're out of wood. Yeah, we're out of wood. Okay, so let me chop down some trees. So we've got some wood to make power poles out, and chop some trees down for science while we're working. With that, I can get 50 power poles queued up. Go harvest another 50 trees to get stuff running. The science running again while we're out crafting glass. Okay, so there's 50 logs. And we did just finish all the stuff I need for our glass lines. So it's the 2 glass works and the line. Not going to be a particularly productive line with that much, but it's a start. Anyway, we're going to run out and place the big machines. Then I could drag power out to them, power and fuel out to them. So. We are storing up tar, so tar is what we're going to be burning at the moment. As we expand, I might swap over to coal gas, because we have other things we're going to do with the tar, and we're not necessarily going to do the coal gas. And it makes sense, or it's sort of important because I don't have a way to store coal gas in the moment to use it, because it's a bit of a use it or lose it situation with the gas. Whereas the tar I can stockpile. The tar I can, as you can see there, I can put that in a giant tailings pond to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. This is where we need the glass mine. Start with that as the belt, and then we need a glass works. Its job is to turn quartz into molten glass. And then we'll have another one that turns molten glass into quartz. And then the pass-through here is the fuel line, so that works as a connection. We'll need a couple non-underground bits to actually connect it. Let's get a start there. Running this through the force, which isn't maybe optimal from a consumption of pipe to ground, but it works. At some point we'll come to force the location, but at the moment we're just going to take a short way through. That's all my underground. I think this is where I want to go north anyway. Yeah, right about there will work. Need more underground. In the meantime, let's get this fluid drill put down. Yeah, I suppose the construction actually for more glass is going to take a little while, because I've got the stuff I need to build it behind the big giant build queue. What am I thinking about over here? I suppose I could do... Yeah, we can do some underground, or ghost ones to show where the path is going to go. So, something like that. Of course, we'll need a bit like that. No, this actually makes sense to probably have on the toolbar. Yeah, that plumbs in. Then we'll use the tar for its initial fueling. Yeah, came over here with these. So you're done doing your thing. You're done doing your thing. And I suppose I can start working on setting the assemblage up with what we're building here, right? So the thing we're missing is we don't have the nursery. That's the one thing we need glass for. So I can actually build most of the automated setup here for trees while I'm waiting for the glass. So, Fast Forestry Farm is fairly large. How much space do I want to save for? Let's run it vertically this way. And we're going to keep the recipe fairly simple. I will go as far as at least plumbing the water in. I'm not quite so keen right now on doing ash into the setup. And then we know we want 3 of those. So, big setup as is obvious by that. This one's about 3 things in, 4 things out. So we'll do 3 things in, 4 things out. Probably not quite the right ratio on inserters in and inserters out, but it'll be fine. In fact, actually, it's probably overkill on the in-B out, and it's probably overkill because this is a recipe that runs every 60 seconds. So Yeah, we'll save inserters. It's going to need like one inserter each side. In the taskbar, so I can do ghost work. Do I have water over here already, or where do I need to take it from? I need to take it from over there. Okay. No, that's not gonna work. Maybe better to go lower. Do I want to pull off of you? Go up and around. Yeah, we'll pull off of you and go up and around. It's not ideal. But this is the spaghetti base. Eventually, I'm going to tear all of this out and just replace it again, as you do. Temporary base will hopefully not last forever. Hopefully not last forever. Okay. That's something that then looks like that. For the in-feed. This is actually where we need the nursery, so I can place a ghost nursery to remind ourselves where it needs to go. Botanical nursery. I might actually need 2 of those, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I will need 2. So we need 1 that's going to be full-time at making tree seedlings, and then we need 1 that we need to make trees out of. Oh, the one that needs tree seedlings also needs water. Yeah, that'll work. And then I need a burner assembler. Actually, I want some capacity in there. Do you want it as wood or as... Oh, actually, what I'll do is we'll split the difference. We'll steal the coal dust coming off of that line. Where does that go, and is that going to be a problem? Yeah, that'd be a problem if I throw ash back on it. The best solution probably for ash is I push it back up that way, but we're not going to bother for the moment. Okay, so you make tree seeds. Find the tree seeds. Okay, that'll work. Oh, I suppose the thing doesn't need fuel because it can steal fuel from off the wood. Wood is fuel. Wood is fuel. That works. And wood is also one of the fuel types that does not make ash. So almost except that it's burning some of the wood it's supposed to be taking. Okay, so we need 2 botanical nurseries. I could technically try to jumpstart it with 1, but it'll be better with 2. Let me go over like that. And that should be a nice functional circular process, given we provide power. I think this needs power. Yeah, it does need power. And of course, sort of plumbing for water. I'm gonna need a lot more. So let's grab a bunch of iron. Get a bit more of that queued up. Probably need a decent number of just pipe as well. And then those need moss. So I'm going to grab 3 moss farms. Again, we're going to keep the recipe simple. I'm going to leave stone out of it for the moment. This is probably the first one I'm going to change to something that is consuming the alternative item. Oh, that's going to need water as well. Again, not really a problem. Easily enough fixed like so. And then you will need soil, so I'll have to use the inserter to take some stuff off the soil belt. Or, actually, I see how I'm going to do this. Got the range. You got the range. I need an underground belt. Sooner rather than later, because I've technically broken that. But... Okay, the other one is going to be the gasifier, which is going to need moment coke. Although we make coke, so that should be fairly easy to do. We probably, maybe don't make enough. Oh yeah, definitely not making... Oh, actually, because we're not using enough coal gas. That's, it's kind of easy to fix. Just gotta turn coal gas consumption up. Running belt down the middle of the road is not the smartest of plans, but maybe that's just an argument to move the road. Okay, I've got the power poles to get some of this stuff hooked up with power. It's power for you. I'll grab some belt and we'll go fix the other thing. Just set up. Right now they're complaining about the lack of trees in the tree farm. Tree farm takes trees and makes more trees out of them, so... Gotta have some trees in them, those that don't work. You need fuel, interestingly enough. Okay, there's some coal for you. Okay, here's the underground to get you back to working. We need a lot more of those. I don't think there's underground going. Let's try to buff coal gas consumption so we get a little bit more coke. So these are going to be more reliably pulling coal gas, so that should put a little bit more load on the system, at least until the furnace is back up. Yeah, putting a little bit more load on the system. Maybe not enough load on the system, but a little bit more. Okay, you provide the CO2 to run the moss. You provide the muddy water if I hook the muddy water system up. And of course the moss farms also need moss, which I haven't put in them yet. Got a little bit of moss in the first one. Oh, those require power as well. I think we have power poles. Okay, I think that's the water plumbing. So you're just waiting on soil. Which is now flowing. That should get us some moss. Assuming we get any carbon through. I'm going to wait until we get the moss going, because I need the moss. I basically need the moss yield to get the moss going, really. But then that's going to work its way through to you, which I suppose isn't in a big rush, because we don't have the glass yet. I haven't finished sorting that. let's go finish plumbing the glass system, so I'm going to be getting the glass back. Part of that will be bringing power out to it. I hope I have enough power. Power poles. You're complaining about lack of power. Why? I should have way more power generation than I need. Unless I screwed something up with the plumbing on the steam. I screwed something up on the ash handling is what I did. Okay. So we got power again. Of course, I'm just a little bit short. A couple more of those under construction. Go check if that goes far enough. First, let's grab the power, because we're going to need that for the mine. Definitely going to need more, whoops, more power poles. So I'm going to take the opportunity to chop some trees down as we're going here so I can build power poles out of the trees that are in our way. As I show the forest that I have the right of way and it does not. Okay, so just waiting on fuel, and apparently some inserters. I forgot to put any inserters in. That's probably enough. How much do you take a second? A little over 1 a second, so two is probably the right number. I'm not min-maxing optimal feeding here. One in Twitch chat saying, "Shakes fisted elves, you have no power here." Yes, the elves are good old Dwarf Fortress elves and wanting their forests to be pristine, and the dwarves just not caring. There we go, molten glass. Again, we only need like 20 pieces of molten glass right now, so I'm not going to overbuild it. We really wanted to build this more to scale. but I think it's 10 to 1. We worked out the recipe here. 5 to 1. Or actually, technically it's, because that's not quite the right ratio, right? We're looking at, you make 5 every 3 seconds. Suppose we actually edit that to some 15. Get some more reasonable numbers. 9 to 75. Makes a belt of glass, which is more than we need. I think we just saw... was there... I think it was the milestone that popped for... glass when I wasn't looking there. So... just before 7 hours 42 minutes. There's 10, so that's half of what we need. Well, half of what I want. Probably could get away with just 10. 10 would probably be enough. I want 2 nurseries because it's just going to be so much easier with 2 nurseries. One to reliably making stuff, and then one for us to grow the plants we need. There we go. Something's off on our generation. To be fair, this is one of the reasons we're trying to do forestry, because part of what's wrong with the science is probably, do we have reliable wood supply? Let's go check up, see what's wrong on the system. Yep, out of wood. All out of wood. There's a couple logs in there. That'll buy us a little bit of time. Meantime, let's grab what we need to build you, which is mostly copper, apparently. I need some logs. I need to go chop some more trees down. Gotta go pretend that I'm Isengard. Fell some forest for the fires of industry. You're not getting any water. You're not getting any water because I forgot to put inserters down to shovel the soil into the machine. It helps better if you remember the inserters. And it probably wants another insert. Yeah, that's about right. So then we're going to get the muddy water, which gets the recipe going. Once the recipe completes a couple times, we'll have the moss for more product. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit, because we can harvest the odd piece of moss for harvesting rocks. Probably going to want this area clear anyway, so let's harvest these rocks. Pour the moss in them. And it's a chance at moss, it's not a guaranteed chance, or not a guaranteed moss every harvest. No, I'm getting bad energy. No moss out of any of these. Expected results, 1 moss. Actual yield, no moss. There's a moss. Got a first moss. suppose it didn't get very much moss from doing that. Although we did get some. Put it in there, make it faster. Each moss adds 100% speed on a machine that is really, really slow. Without it. I need to steal some planter boxes. And you're not working because you have no wood. And you're not making any wood because I haven't finished the wood production line. Okay, so I'm just going to go deforest some land. And I suppose if I want planter boxes, how many do I need for my trees? I need 30 trees. My 30 trees require 30 planter boxes. Okay. Harvesting trees. Okay, let's use that to get science going again, get engines done. Tech tree, did I put cars after engines? I'm going to queue up cars. I'm going to pull it up the plan here. We need engines for cars, but that's all we're missing for it. And cars will be potentially useful for exploration. And because of some mistakes I made earlier, I may need to be doing exploration far earlier than you probably need to be. Okay, there's the first nursery. And I need both the nurseries working to start putting trees in the tree farm. Also could just do with more moss. So that's probably the next forest I wanted to forest. Clear that bunch of rocks out to the east here. Might give us a little bit more moss and help us a little bit in that way. I think I got absolutely no moss from that. No moss. Bunch of stone, but no moss. There we go. So then we need the tree saplings. The tree saplings just need the moss. I need the moss to be going, which means I need the moss to make more moss. The first completion here is going to allow me to bring the first one up to full speed. And technically get the second one going as well. Almost there. This is like watching paint dry. Getting some of these growth industries going for the first time is like watching paint dry. There we go. Oh, actually, it's more in these. Is it? Which module slots do you have? That's a good question. 15, not 10. I was thinking 10. It's 10 trees, but it's 15 moss. Okay. Yeah, that's at least going a little faster. There is engines. As far as engines concerned, it's no new buildings that I want to automate. Well, that I want to automate independent of the thing that they are built into. Pumps we will probably put on the bus, but I'm not going to add it as a checklist item because, honestly, when I add pumps to the bus, and engines, to be fair, it's going to be because something else wants both engines and pumps. Add that to the burn pile. I'm trying to think of what I can do to make the base spool up a little bit faster. Because right now we're literally waiting on our trees to grow. Quartz, tin, aluminum, titanium, niobium, uranium we don't need, raw borax, iron ore. That's probably going to be our first real expand. Well, outside of, unless you include the stone, because we don't have any stone to start. Excellent chromium. Did I not find any extra coal? I haven't found any extra coal. Okay, so that's something we're going to have to go explore for at some point. Go. First one running, second one running faster. Underboxes go in there. Oh, and 2.5 of these is going to be making 0.2 moss a second. So we're technically making 8. Well, actually, 2.5 of them, so we're actually going to have 3 there, so we're going to be making more than that. I'm not going to do the math to figure out exactly how much that's making per cycle. Okay, so it's a 16th of the recipe duration, so it's saying 1,000 seconds, or 100 seconds, but let's actually divide that by 16. 8 seconds per recipe, so it's like one moss a second or something. No. Well, something like that. Around there. There's our next 8. Okay, the next one going faster. We've got everything prepped for trees, which is why I haven't actually put these 2 inserters in, is I would like to have the trees to make the tree farms work before, you know, we start feeding the saplings to the farms that don't work. We're out of wood for you again. Let's go chop down a little bit more forest. Chop down forest. Or lumber to get the science going again, while we don't have lumber making automated. Although we should be getting closer and closer to that being truly automated. Moss from you, more moss from you. Quite enough to get up to full speed. Then logs go in that hole. Chop down a little bit more trees, and then we'll have moss fully going. Check up on the moss. Next thing to do is to get the trees going, which in theory they may in fact be going already. Check in a moment. There we go. We'll hold on to the last 6 moss, because at some point we're going to want more moss farms. And I'm not sure if we're going to have moss packs up at that point. Or do I... No, I'm talking check it in here. I want the trees going sooner. We got the first tree growing, but we'll get the second tree going a little bit faster that way. First tree, just over 8 hours in. Honestly, I can probably just set up an inserter here, or a box here with an inserter. And I can go off and do something else while we're waiting for that. Feeding wood into the hungry tree consumer. Put into, whoops, ash wood. You're actually full. You're full. You were complaining about flora. Okay, I need to go fetch some flora. Let's see what to do. That's another thing we need to find, is because I screwed up on the initial settings. I don't have very much flora in the initial deposit here. So we'll have to find a second one fairly quickly. There we go. That gets you running again. What am I going to need for cars? 8 engines, 1 light armor. Honestly, I should be making a light armor for a little more inventory space. That's steel. That's probably why I haven't made it. Okay, inventory size bonus plus 20. And then the car requires the armor, 8 engine units. Can I hand build engines, or do I have to set up an assembler for that? I am allowed to hand build the engine units, okay. I think base Factorio does not allow you to hand build engines. I remember correctly. That's all the aluminum. I'll go fetch some more aluminum for the inventory. Yeah, now we're just waiting for the technology of automobilism to have our first vehicle. Oh, that does remind me, I should probably prepare some repair packs, because I am not good at driving the car. I'm better driving the tank than I am the car. I have the tech for the repair packs, right? No. No, I don't have the tech for the repair packs. Okay, put that up to the car. If I'm going to be driving a car, I'm going to need to be able to fix the car. Oops. That works. Accidentally pulled the 1 out instead of putting the 6 in. Oh, it adds up to 1. That's what the math works like. Okay, so no, I'm not doing 1 every 6 seconds, because that would have been ludicrous based on my predictions from the calculator. I'm getting 8 every 100. So it's about 1 every 13 seconds. Just under 13 seconds. Okay, I'm going to take a quick trip to the loo. I'll be right back. Okay, back from the facilities. Got some trees. We'll load these into our tree farms. As we come up near completion, what I'll probably do is I'll actually put those inserters in and get the tree farms going. The first one should be running at speed if I were to do that now. Okay, let's actually I'm going to manually take you, manually shove you in there, and that leaves you one short, which is close enough to complete. I can happily do that without too much concern. No automobiles was running. 5 minutes out at the current speed. And into there, and we got our first recipe of logs going. At speed, nonetheless, it'll be 4 logs in 60 seconds. Oh, I screwed up. 3 to 1. It'll still be fine. Thinking about technology. We're working towards electronics. We have acetylene queued up, presumably to go into solder. And then after that, we're going to be looking probably for moondrops next. So that's seaweed. And then, while the factory is going, yeah, the factory is running in the background here, I'm going to start contemplating a little far ahead, which is... is this actually going to show up? I'm thinking about it. Nope, we have something. First log completed 8 hours, 9 minutes, and a few seconds after that. Factory planner, can I have you... Is this showing me every recipe, or everything we can make? Yes. I search basic. This is not going to be basic. What is it called? That's simple circuit board. Start contemplating what the supply chain is for that. Obviously, we're in hidden recipes right now. We haven't researched them. Okay, so for balance, I'm only going to have one machine. So we're going to say 7.5, which is going to be one machine of that. High-powered resistors. So we need to get tin going. Not very much tin, but a little bit of tin. We're going to need ceramic capacitors going. So we're going to get ceramics going. Air core. Presumably we'll have at that point we'll have some ceramics, so that'll work for that. Vacuum tube. Solder, the basic one. Basic one. Basic batteries and printed circuit boards. Probably the limestone recipe for that first. And this is sort of to get an idea for what I need to start preparing for and how big of a lumber industry we need. And honestly, this is probably bigger than I'm going to go, because I'm going to go small enough that the really basic stuff we can do once. So this is actually bigger than I'm going to go. Let's actually edit this down. We're not going to use the full main machine because I want to keep each of these electronic facilities for less than one. Okay, so we're going to need a lot of cellulose. Wood is still a lot of that. we need to build a fairly large farm, wood farm, to make that work. And we already roughly know how that works. Yeah, that's actually fairly large for that as well, yeah, so it's about 3 of those for every one of those. It's about 3 of these for every one of those, so, okay. I think that's just the thing, yeah. That's the recipe we got right now. We haven't started thinking about formica, which is going to be that recipe. Which requires raw fiber, which right now comes from wood. Add to the wood demand. We had a tech finish in the background. Automobilism is complete. Okay. I can start handcrafting my automobile. So we can go exploring while we're waiting for the tech industry to work its way through the techs. I think I'm specifically missing in here, so got all those queued up. So we got you prepped, sub-components. We know how we're getting our glass. This is not very much glass. That's not very much ceramics, so I suppose I can put a thing of ceramics in the process. And then clay is easy, clay is steam. Coke we're already making. So for most of this stuff... Oh, that's an electric boiler. That's the wrong type of boiler. Oh, of course I've done the recipe for the boiler, which is the wrong thing to do. Okay. Yeah, that boiler. Two and a bit. Again, we sort of got seam sorted, so I don't need to worry too much about that. Anyhow, are these all raw? So raw coal's fine, moss is fine, and we know what we gotta do for the moss at least. Sap's... I suppose I gotta sort sap. Well, sap's pretty easy to do. Yeah, no, sap's not researched yet, that's fine. We're researching it. And, yeah, sap's pretty easy to do, but apparently that's gonna be one of the limiting steps. Yeah, sap's going to be one of the really limiting steps. There really only two sap trees per sap farm. Okay, but that's just power in. So that's basic resource, they're making that from that. That's basically basic resource. Oh, treated wood. Right now that's going to be coming from methane. Yeah, it's that one, formaldehyde. And the treated wood is creosote. Creosote comes out of a whole bunch of different recipes. We might actually start off by doing all of them, so we'll leave that as creosote. Okay. And then methane's its own production chain, which we haven't launched yet. Okay, we're looking at this is what we got to work towards for our next big thing. I was also trying to do this up so I could determine what we need to expand, which is, to be fair, going to be wood. I need to make a whole lot more wood. Even after this wood for our initial stuff is done, we're going to need more wood. Yeah, looking like 6 wood processors, 22 west forest places, 7.2 botanical nurseries. So non-trivial amounts of those. And then we'll need vacuums pretty easy to make. Methane is not necessarily very easy, but it probably wants to be its own standalone thing that we make a plumbed system. Sailing ore is pretty easy to do. It's just gravel plus water. And then gravel is stone ground up in the crusher. Yeah, the big one here is actually the sap. Okay, let's stop poking that beast for a moment. Let's get the trees running at full speed. It should be enough to actually run all of these if we work the math out right the first time. Yeah, because the 0.6 of U is powered by the 2.4 of U, which is powered by the 0.8 of U. We have more than that, and more than that, and more than that. So it's possible that we won't have enough feed to run the things at full speed. Like this one might not be up 100% of the time, but they should all be running. Because it should provide enough to feed those, and that enough to feed this is options that needs to be running, which is a different problem itself. You need fuel. Gotta be stopped because I stopped fueling you. Yeah, let me grab some fuel and put in these things. I'm thinking about that. Probably the best fuel I can grab right now. From a density standpoint, it's actually coal ash. Or coal dust. Because it stacks fairly high. Car is done. Now, be careful not to crash into trees. Let's grab some coal to power the car. It's a coal power car. Let's get a steam car here. It's probably more than I need for the car, but... Go, and we hop in the car, we climb the car. Which direction do you want to explore first? I'm going to need that next at some point. Let's go that direction. Antimony field, not what we're looking for. Settling to mine the titanium. We'll need titanium at some point. in ore field. Lead ore. Lead is one of the ones I accidentally screwed up the richness on the size on, so that's a really small field. And there's raw nexlet, okay. It's oil sands, which is not quite coal. Chromium. Another deposit of stone. The next big deposit I'm probably looking to expand is either going to be iron or coal. Ideally, actually, coal next to an iron deposit. I think I'm going to want it early enough that we're still going to be on burner drills, burner miners. More iron. Ocean. Rare earth minerals, native flora, raw nexalit, stone. I suppose if we were desperate, the stone is a fuel source. Could potentially do stuff around here. Ah, there's a raw coal deposit. Okay, so that wouldn't be too bad. We do raw coal and do, like, iron on the way back. Giant titanium rock. That rich rock. Oops. Crashed into a boulder. Chromium deposit from before. Regolite rock, okay. Another deposit of raw coal. Some more ocean. A really tiny deposit of iron ore right on the edge of the ocean there. Probably never going to mine that batch. Okay, so we found 2 things of coal. I'm going to go west to east or north to south of the coal. So probably one we'll use with burner drills, one will be our first electric one. Probably want to use this one because it'll be nice and close to the water. Okay, let's get back to base on the repair packs. Well, it's been a while since we've been to the stone deposit. Let's check up and make sure there's anything jammed there. Okay, ash isn't flowing, but that isn't the end of the world. Yeah, the answer is we're not burning through stone quickly enough. Because apparently I have so many bricks that the brick line isn't moving. That's supposed to be the case. Or if I screwed something up. Because if that is supposed to be the case, I'll be tempted to do a lot more brick in improving marking for where the road should be. Yeah, I'd argue that it's not supposed to be the case, because that could definitely be running faster. Okay. Yep, looks like we're getting enough wood. To run the science at speed. That's good to see. If we can feed it fast enough, which is a different problem. So running at the speed of inserters. Okay, so what's the next problem I want to solve? Working towards science here. Petri dish into Moondrop. Yeah, okay. So I think we're going to want to get more trees going, so let me go handcraft some more planter boxes. Which tab was the planter boxes on? That one. Mostly short wood. Repair packs are done. We're going to want to build a couple of those because they already damaged the car. Let's drop a grid. That's not what we're looking for next. At that point, what are we missing? We've got creosote, we got you. We're just missing sap and fluid pressurization at that point for electronics. Oh, we don't have enough ash and or soil. Okay, let's go pick up some ash and soil. I don't know how kerosene got there again, but kerosene got there. Whoops, I didn't want all the ash. I wanted like 2,000 ash, please. There we go. Okay, so that's another 50 planter boxes, like another 50 trees. Which, based off of what we're predicting for our circuit boards, is not enough trees, but it's a start. next research we're completing is tar processing, which is going to give us tar processing unit. That'll be the first time we've added to the to-do list during the stream. In fact, actually, let me go do the build review on the spaghetti glass. I apparently already did that, but forgot to check it off the checklist. It's not going to make sense to drive over there because it's through the middle of the forest. Okay, so here is our sort of very small spaghetti glass setup. Eventually we'll add feature dishes to it and probably add more glassworks to it, but for the moment, that's the check on the checklist. We'll go over and look in a moment at the automated wood for spaghetti tier 1 science, because we're there for that as well. Okay, once again we're rolling into a position where you can see the spaghetti tree farm, and it's running perfectly well. This isn't obviously perfectly balanced, or perfectly ratioed, but for what we need, which is to feed the one burner assembly machine up here, this is actually more wood than we need because the assembler up there is limited by wood imports and feeding the local fauna into it, so this is plenty for what we need for now. When we get to circuit boards, this is not going to be enough. But for now, we check the list again. Automated wood for spaghetti tier 1 science, done. So, got a reminder that check aluminum every once in a while. Aluminum has just a couple furnaces, and I need it to be running, otherwise the coal gas backs up. So it's sort of the reminder. Go check that thing to make sure it doesn't break the whole system. But it's running. It's got plenty of coal gas in it, and it's not stopping. Which, as long as it doesn't stop, means we can keep consuming the coal gas, which means we keep making tar. And we're not actually ready to use the tar very much yet. And we can see you've run out, so it's time to clean this mess up. The temporary line is at the end of its temporariness. A more permanent solution to the temporary problem was never solved, but in the end, it was never needed. Although that is showing you what eventually may be a concern, which is the iron mine will not last forever. Yeah, we're definitely being limited by coal gas consumption. I need more consumption of the coal gas. Just making more drills is not necessarily going to do it. Although I think that's what we're going to go do first here. because what'll probably end up happening if I just really heavily lean into using drills to extract aluminum, which is what's consuming the coal gas right now, is that the aluminum consumption isn't large enough to support that, and that'll back up because the aluminum's full. I don't think we necessarily actually make enough steel to properly fill the belt up when it's on being pulled pretty heavily, but we haven't been using it very heavily at the moment, so it's been apparently filling up. If we take much more than that, we're going to run out of copper feeding the science, which we would like to keep going. It may be an argument to actually be expanding science production. It's not like we don't have a lack of mining capacity. Yeah, let's go ahead and just expand the copper production. So I did no. I did the cut tool instead of the copy tool. That's the copy tool. Furnace is in. Actually, there's a really quick way I can do this, so I've just got the inserters. Don't care about the orientation right away. And we just copy and paste the correct orientation off of a different location. And fix it like so. Actually. There we go. And then all we're missing is actually the stone furnaces. So I can a couple of you to accelerate that process. And then as soon as these 5 fluid mining drills are done, we'll have double the copper production. Nope, something's wrong with science. Science, what's your problem? I need tar processing for having a really clear path what to do next. Okay, so not copper, it's not iron. Shouldn't be wood. Well, it shouldn't be anything at this point. Well, I suppose there is one thing we are still hand feeding, and it's the thing we need to hand feed. That's what's for now. Yep, that'll give us tar processing, which will give us, well, the tar processing unit. And a couple different ways to make brick. Stone brick, as well as the quenching tower. More aluminum production, which means a little bit more coal gas consumption. How much slack capacity do I have in various components here? So you're at, okay, so that's 1/6 capacity, 1/10 capacity. I'm thinking I might do is when we do this stuff for circuit boards is under build for circuit boards. I don't even think we're going to maintain this. Right? This is a lot, especially when we start looking at the wood demands. Although, from a building standpoint, like we're like, oh, we're gonna have one of those, 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 because you need one. We're gonna have one of those. Again, need one. One of those feeds one of those. That's fine. Well, one of those actually doesn't feed one of those. But at the ratio where we're planning on making it work, yeah, we got plenty of steam production. That's something we'll expand at some point because we'll be going hand in hand with a power production. One of those for that's fine. And again, like 1/1. That's the first thing where we're looking at something that isn't going to be 1. But I think we turn that down because I'm not going to make that much wood the first pass here. Which means we're not going to have as much Formica or printed circuit boards because all the bits that need wood. We're going to have to tune down a bit. Or at least start tuned down. It may make sense to leave them in a state where they're reasonably easy to expand. So start small with the plans of being able to make them bigger. Yeah, start small with plans of being able to make them bigger. Probably way to handle it. 'Cause no point in here we looking at like moving a whole belt or something. Man, that's not a whole belt of gravel. That's not a whole belt of sap or tree seedlings or logs. We're at half a belt on the wood there. That's all the wood I need for running less than 1 on everything up there, which is what I was trying to do. So if I leave the design in a state where I can expand, should be able to expand to this size, but I think we're just going to basically do the proverbial 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, even though that's not the correct ratio. We're not going to ratio it. We're just going to do one of everything. Except maybe the wood. I might reduplicate this this setup. Except maybe the high pressure CO2 in the water. So basically just copy that and flip it or something. Although we'll probably leave the botanical nursery off the list. So if that's the assumption I'm going to do, we're looking at something that looks like that. And I can probably start acquiring the stuff I need to build that. So that's 3 of those. I actually don't need the botanical nursery because we can reuse the first one. The botanical nursery is mostly used for bootstrapping. So 1 nursery, 3 of those, 3 of those. Yes, get more in the handcrafting cube, even farther behind where we are currently, crafting-wise. And then I need to go get glass for the nursery. Oh, and I should just finished you up, so I should add tar pressing units and quenching towers to do list. Add bus tar cross bus winch. Just so that when we do get to the bus phase, I've got a checklist of things I need to build. Automated production of 1 by 1. So we can stop doing crazy things like handcrafting walls of stuff. Tree got in the way, tree gets chopped down. And then to get you in the queue, I'm just missing a little bit of stone and a little bit of soil. So we're going to grab a thing of soil and grab a thing of stone. And copper. Oh, apparently there's ash. I got my belts going the wrong way, don't I? Because I'm getting ash on the copper belt, which is the wrong belt for that. Which means I'm putting copper on the ash belt, haven't I? Yeah. Yeah, that's the wrong way around. That's gonna take so long to clean up. I'm gonna take a moment to clean that out, though. Okay, that's all the copper behind us. Okay, I think I've cleaned that up now. I put the nursery in the queue to be built. Yeah, nursery's in the queue to be built. Okay, let's fix that plumbing. So the right thing goes to the right location. And we're still working those drills. Ooh, how many different recipes did we pick up when we picked up tar processing? Because we're obviously going to do tar processing. So we start off tar plus steam, gives us middle, creosote, arsine, and pitch. That turns the middle into light and carboxylic and ethylene. You eat the pitch. Although I don't want to do you yet, because I don't think I need coke's a byproduct at the moment for making tar. Yeah, I don't necessarily need that coke right away. So we're looking at, let's say, 1 recipe, 2 recipe, 3 recipe. So probably need at least 3 tar processing units. I think that's all done in the tar processing facility. Yeah, no, one of them's in the distillation. Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 tar processing units and a destructive distillation column. And then we get some more carosote recipes. No, those are in the tar processing. So we need like 5 tar processing units and 1 destructive distillation column. Oh, actually, we'll leave that one there. Should start from the bottom up because the fuel's at the bottom. Because this one's not connected until we make the rest of the row. There's the tar processing unit. So, worked out I need 5, so I have to get more stone and more copper. And then 1 destructive distillation column. And probably a whole large amount of tailing spawns. Assuming they can stay in tailing spawns. So what was that recipe making? And the creosote can stay. So that's 1 product that needs a tailings pond for buffering. We start with you, so that adds 4 more products. So we're that plus, oh, that adds creosote. So that's 4. Middle adds 2 more, up to 6. The light goes up to 8. Yeah, we're looking at like 8. Eventually most of that's going to become creosote, but 8 different tailings ponds. And I've got 1, so I need 7 more. Living factor is mostly brick. Okay, so it is running. What am I missing? Am I just missing... No, that's not everything in the queue. Oh, and then fluid pressurization. So, getting closer. $30 seconds for creosote. And got the laundry list of things to handcraft here. This is, again, one of the reasons why eventually I'm going to swap over to sort of a bus mall arrangement. I'm making a checklist of what to put on the bus mall. Because we definitely reach points in the run where I'm like, and now we wait for the handcraft to work. Okay, there's creosote. I think we worked out earlier that we didn't need to add anything to the to-do list. Well, electric poles will probably be added to the to-do list at some point, but... I suppose the last time I built furnaces, I didn't need to. They were just sitting there. I just couldn't pick them up. But I put that in the mall, in the spaghetti mall I've got. get the belts are in. A little while before we're actually going to get the buildings to go with them. And the plumbing's going to be even farther down because I didn't make any preparations for plumbing. You know, I wasn't planning on adding this to the bus. It's getting added to the bus right now. That is pipes. And the underground version. We got small little thing quartz going. And then I think the next major expansion, especially if we start getting going pretty heavily, whoops, is going to be iron ore. Question is, am I mining it for iron, or am I mining it for steel? Or both? If we get electric drills, I do have to trek a burnable out to it, whether it's coal or something. Although I suppose I could probably steal some burnables from the stone mine. I didn't want to find more burnables. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I could track the kerosene over, or the kerogen over to the iron ore here. Plumbing coming along. Ah, I see. I see how I screwed that up. No ash. Stop trying to hand ash to the machine that doesn't take ash. Oops. Other way around. You gotta tell it no ash, not ash. Yes. There we go. Now I can be working on plumbing while crafting a bunch of stuff. And that works for water. Need more plumbing, but we're making more. So let's go over there and grab it. 38 more pipe to grounds. Okay, so now I just need the not pipe to grounds, and we can get the whole thing plumbed, and then we're just waiting for the machines to be built, and they're in the queue. How's the power grid looking? Based on current consumptions, fairly healthy. Okay, we go shut the pipe to ground back in the box. That way the pipe to ground saturates faster, so we get some through pipe quicker. Tunneling is running, there doesn't seem to be any problem with that. Other than probably the slow hand-feeding speed of the dirt. We could be running fast if the dirt was running faster. Apparently I don't have enough dirt on the belt. I think I know why that might be, because I've got it coming out of a chest by a single inserter. Yeah, okay. Oh, and the chest is mostly empty anyway, so that's fine. Just trying to figure out ways to get it back on the belt. I'm like, do I really... What do I do about doing? The answer is it doesn't matter, because it's makes more sense. And then there we go. Get bigger pulses of dirt just coming into the machine straight. Yeah, the machine's actually backlogged. Here's the end of the backlog. So in theory makes about 2 every second in pulses of 16 every 8 seconds. Okay, 75 underground, or 75 regular pipe. So pop the corners in. If you like pipe madness, we're going to get into more madness as far as pipes are concerned. Later in the day here, we'll get to doing the creosote. Okay, I'm coming up where I should probably finish the before stream portion of today's stream. We'll be streaming again fairly later in the night. The family wants to go over to my dad's and watch Jeopardy, so I'm going to be absconded with for good 4 to 5 hours here. But we will be back to continuing the run as soon as I get back from a relative's house, effectively. There we go. We got acetylene done. There's a research. I think the acetylene tech just added some more things I need to build. Or added to the bus. Yeah, gasifiers have been added to the bus. Need to be added to the bus to do this. Bus, gas, if fire. I'm probably spelling gasifier wrong, but I need to be able to read it. It doesn't need to be spelled right. It needs to be spelled in dyslexic. All it is. That's what's going to be spelled dyslexic. Yeah, I think this is where we're going to end up with the part break in. We got a big queue in construction here, and we need to get them into the queue. So until next time, put the save in here. So this is actually the third stream save. So until next time, I wish you all best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.